Kane Corns is out. He's obliterated his glute, just like Port Adelaide obliterated Adelaide in the second half. We'll talk everything about Showdown 47. Bernie Vince will give us his take. How good is Robbie Gray going? That's all on Footy SA. Thanks for joining us on Footy SA. Apologies, I know I'm not South Australian, but I'm stepping in for Kane Corns, who has unfortunately hurt his glute doing, didn't even get to the marathon. He just about got to the marathon, but he's not going to do the marathon. But Showdown 47 as I welcome Bernie Vince. And what a showdown it was, and what a second half it was.
Oh, absolute smashing, wasn't it, from Port Adelaide? And big question marks over Kane Corns. He's gone up to the Gold Coast to run in a marathon. Didn't run, and now he wants Monday off as well. So big questions there, almost bigger questions there than the Adelaide Footy Club second half.
This is a man that picks on Tex and everybody in Adelaide when they don't get the job done, and he's pulled in a soft effort. But let's get into the Kia big moment straight away. The V6 twin-turbo Kia Stinger, the Western Australian Car of the Year. And there certainly were some big moments, but they were obliterated, weren't they? And there's a massive stat board we've got coming up. But it was the second half was just unbelievable watching from my lounge room.
Yep, well, there's one... Adelaide kicked one goal in the second half, and that came in the first 30 seconds of the third quarter. So after that, did not give a yelp. And I think it was the way Port Adelaide kicked their goals. They were just waltzing in. There was no defence. It looked like Adelaide just didn't want to be there in the second half. And this is a showdown. This is the closest thing to a final that Adelaide and Port Adelaide get to play during the season. So really disappointing. Adelaide's home game, of course. So their home crowd, and very disappointing.
Hey, everyone's played in losses where you get obliterated like this and you look uncompetitive, but normally it's from the first minute of the game. Yeah. Adelaide were all over them. They probably should have been 5 goals in front at half-time, and it's just so strange that you come out after half-time and put in a performance like that.
Yeah, it certainly is, and that's really worrying. 4 goals 11 they were at half-time, so it could have been more in front, but as we see there from some of the stats, they just absolutely got belted. 23 clearances to 12. Contested footy inside 50s. Look at that, 41 to 12.
But what about the tackles? Power still had more tackles than the Crows in that second half, and the Crows didn't lay their hands on the footy.
I don't know how you read into that one, but the biggest, there was just no pressure. It looked like they didn't want to be there.
It was a massive day for Port Adelaide, but more importantly, Adelaide, they've apologised every news agency in the country at the moment. And here's what Don Pike had to say after the game.
We conceded some easy goals, and we probably didn't take some opportunities we had to hit the scoreboard, and we kicked the first goal of the second half, and then from there, we were embarrassed. We were outplayed by a side that worked harder than us. I think inside 50s were like 42 to 13 in the second half. It was just nowhere near the level that is acceptable, and I want to apologise to our members and fans that turned up to watch, because it was nowhere near good enough from all of us. We were badly beaten.
Now, have you ever apologised for a performance?
No, and I'm a bit surprised that Don Pike's apologised, Mark Rasciuto's apologised, now Tex Walker's apologised. I don't think the supporters want to hear apologies. No. I think they say, OK, put that aside. You got Gold Coast next week. We just want you to go out and do a number on them. We want actions. We don't really want words.
For me, it's all about the response. Stop apologising, respond.
Are they top 4? Are they top 8? Where are they? I mean, it was a bad loss, but it's only one loss. Previous to that, they had Geelong on the ropes down in Geelong a couple of weeks ago. They've got a pretty good run that we're going to have a look at in a minute. But I still think they're a top 8 side. It's going to be hard to make top 4, though.
They're certainly a top 8 side. The top 4 wasn't a great performance on the weekend from all the top 4 sides, apart from probably West Coast. So that leaves the door open a little bit, but I don't think they're a top 4 side at the moment. And only last week we were speaking about them being a top 4 side. So, a lot can change in 1 week, but I guess they've had a good enough year to still knock on that door, but they just need wins.
What they do have is a pretty good run coming up. Let's have a look at their games over the next month or two. And Gold Coast away, you want a response there. Essendon at home is a huge game. You'd think they'd beat Carlton and St Kilda the way they're going, and then 2 huge games to finish the season, but they should, if they're playing good enough footy, win 4 games in a row now.
Yep, certainly. I've got them winning the next 4. West Coast away is going to be hard. Collingwood really out of form at the moment, but their best side's good enough and they might get some players back by then. And Bulldogs are ways of 50-50 because they're sort of in and out of form as well at the moment. So they've just put, by losing a game like this, they've just put a lot of pressure on the next 4 weeks. Now they have to win them.
Now, some players I just love to sit back and watch, and you're just in awe of how good they are. And then you go up to another level when you do it in big games. Robbie Gray, 5 times now showdown medal. I mean, there's got to be talk around, is he the greatest Port Adelaide player of all time? Now, I think Warren Treadray's deservedly had that name for a long, long time. But this guy right now is knocking on the door and saying, Warren, I want the job.
I don't know if he's saying I'm coming now. He might be there. But unbelievable effort on the weekend. He's just so versatile. He can play forward and kick multiple goals. He's kicked 5 or 6 goals in showdowns before. He plays in the midfield. He gets a heap of touches. He gets clearances. He's one of those players that you just love to have a few of him. But again, on the weekend, 35 disposals, a medal. His 5th medal. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
In your eyes, is he the greatest of all time at Port Adelaide?
Well, it's a tough one to compare. I think the only thing missing from Robbie Gray's resume is a premiership. And Warren Treadray, well, we're going to have a look at it now. So here's Treadray. He's the premiership up there is probably the one that stands out for the most. But 5 showdown medals, both for all Australians. 3-time best and fairest compared to 4. Robbie's still got another few years left to catch him up. Obviously, a lot more goals for Treadray, but he was more of a stay-at-home forward. So it's a really good argument. I think just what's missing is that premiership, but I don't know. It's hard to call now, isn't it?
Certainly is, but that top line there, 2004 Premiership captain, it carries a lot of weight. It shouldn't carry as much weight at what it does, but when you stand up on that dais and you are the captain and you lead that footy club and you hold up the cup, it does.
Do we take into account that Primus was the actual captain? Treadray was vice. Primus was injured on the day.
No, fair point.
Maybe
let's take a couple of points off Warren Treadray, and I once fire extinguished it over an island, which he's never got over, but good on you, Treaders. We think Robbie Gray is the best of all time right now. But I tell you, one of the players that I like for the Brownlow has been Travis Boak, and this is a key big moment. Home of Australia's 7-year best factory warranty. Out of the team, but some really good inclusions who stood up.
Yep, definitely. And he was a big loss because I was worried about how Adelaide were going to play Travis Boak. So him pulling out, they would have been licking their lips. And that's probably what makes the loss even more disappointing. But some of these guys that came in were outstanding. Pau Pepper, Westhoff came in. Westhoff and Rockcliffe nearly had 100 possessions in 2 weeks of footy, which is outstanding. But to do it at this level is obviously better. But it's just good that they're picking players off good SANFL form when they're ready to come back and they're performing at the next level.
You always know that Rockcliffe is going to get footy. The one you probably didn't know how he was going to perform was Sam Powell-Pepper. And you're sitting there, mate, an hour before the game, not knowing where you're going to play and what you're going to do. You wouldn't have set up the way you would normally set up. And we're going to have a look at some of their numbers right now. Rockcliffe, 36 disposals. Powell-Pepper, 24. Westhoff, 23 and 16 marks. But what was impressive for Sam Powell-Pepper was how urgent he looked, how elite he looked by hand. He was running and carrying the football, which was really good. So he was absolutely flying, and that gets me. And Bernie's worked his way over to the plasma, to the Kia Top 7. Kia, home of Australia's best 7-year factory warranty. Bern, what have you got for us?
Probably missed something out of the intro there. This is where I do my best work, so you listen carefully at home. All right, straight into it. Here we go. Look, the showdown. You know, if you're going to be tossing the coin, you know well before you're going to be tossing the coin. Get out of the bar, even if it's your round. Get out of the bar, get out there. Have a look how long they wait. They're holding up the whole stadium. Where is he? Still can't see him. Oh, no. Yes, there he is.
He was in the bar, was he?
They found him in the bar. Get out there earlier, mate. Oh, what about my favourite player of all time, Tony Modra? Oh, boy, he's pulled up a little bit. He's done the hammy. Look, put on a bit of weight, Mons, too. Still can jump, though, apparently, according to him. What about this? This didn't work out too well for Tom Duday. Have a look. When Port fans say they're going to win the showdown, laughing, well, didn't that backfire on him? That's why I don't do any of that crap. Right, here we go. Oh, look at this. I didn't like the look of this. They were going home early.
It's too early for that, Bern.
Too early. That was just after Tex kicked his goal, I think, early in the third quarter. But what about this? This reminds me of you, Brownie. Bit of candy on the left, straight over the goal umpire's hat. Love that sort of stuff. Right, here we go. What about Dommy? If anyone has seen the 22 Adelaide Crows players since approximately 5:30 p.m. Saturday night, exactly, great point. Shut a bit quicker. I was into something else there. But what about this? We're talking about the Kane Corns, the GOAT. Thinks he's the GOAT. And that is Kane Corns. You can tell by the size of his head. Look at the size of the melon on that logo. Don't make out that's Robbie Gray and you're trying to support him. He's trying to support himself. Look at the size of the melon.
Look at how unwell he looks. He looks like a corpse.
Pale. You can tell
he
his
was once
glutes.
an AFL player who had muscles and all sorts of things. And he looks ill.
He does look sick.
He does look ill. Start having a good feed there, Kane. Still plenty more to come after the break. We're going to have more showdown talk, and that's all thanks to OTR Barista Made C Coffee Break. See you next. Welcome back to Footy SA. Thanks to Kia, Australia's best 7-year factory warranty, and OTR, making life easy. Bernie's still found his way over the plasma. You like the plasma work, Bern, don't you?
I haven't left here. As I said, do my best work here, but I don't like what I'm about to talk about, Brownie. I'm going to talk about some of the poor Crows' pressure. So if we have a look at this first one, this is a couple of key forwards. I think this is Tex. Not a bad tackle, but then gives up on the second play. Eddie Betts comes in way too hard. Why not just push him that way where your other players are? Look at him here now. This is probably more to the point. Just sort of give up on the chase. Like, if he has to cut back that way, you need pressure on him. That's really poor. And this one is... You don't want to see this if you're a Crows player. Have a look at this. Pause it right there. This is Motlop. This is where he's come from. Here. 1, 2, 3 Crows players. Have a look at this. Runs through them. Have a look, not just through them. They've completely given up back here. Have a look. And what's more, the footy gods, hurts you, kicks a goal. Really, really poor.
He sniffed a goal out there, didn't he?
But he didn't just get past those Crows players from the contest. He beat them by 30 metres. They just didn't want to chase.
No, it was just a lack of care, wasn't it? And that's all for OTR. Kick goals and tackle lives problems close to the siren with OTR. 24-hour convenience. OTR, making life easy. Bern, you mentioned Eddie Betts. He's been a little bit down on form. There's people even thinking maybe he shouldn't be in the side at the moment. I can't ever have any of that because he is a player that you have to put so much time into. His numbers aren't as good as what they have been, but he still kicked 26 goals this year. He's down, but he'll bounce back. Yeah,
he's going to bounce back, and I sort of agree with you. I don't think you can put him out of the side. They've just got to find a way to get him back in form, because if you have a look at his 2019 stats compared to his career, it's actually not that much different, a little bit down, but I think they've, more to the point, they've got to find a way to get him in form rather than sending him back to the SNFL. I don't think that's an option. Yep. He's too exciting. He's forward pressure, and that's pretty good. So they've just got to find a way to get him in form because he's so important for them.
You know, it's hurt him as he's ageing, and I still think his numbers are okay, but having Charlie Cameron not there this year, I think's hurt him big time because when you've got two electric players to watch, I mean, it just makes his job so much easier and Charlie's job so much easier. So I really think he's really missed Charlie Cameron.
Certainly does, because he gets that number one small defender, doesn't he, now? Because he used to swap a little bit with Charlie Cameron. And isn't Charlie Cameron in some form? Wow.
Certainly he's in some... Here's some available Crows to come back over the next couple of weeks who aren't in the side at the moment. Of these players, obviously Bryce Gibbs is the biggest name that we've spoken about. Sam Jacobs is a really good player as well. But who of these players can come back?
Well, Tom Lynch, if he's available, he walks straight into that side. Cam Ellis-Yeoman is another one that walks straight in. But I want to see him give Darcy Fogarty a go. He's a key forward, Brownie, that I just like his physicality. He's aggressive. He knocks blokes over. He's been reported a few times. I just think they're lacking a little bit of that in their forward line at the moment. So I'd love to see him get an opportunity, but I don't know if you can take three big key forwards like they would have if they take him in, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, let's have a look at the under-18s now, and the young Crows were too good for the Allies, and one young player, young Stevenson, Dylan Stevens, was very, very good. He dominated.
Very good, and as you see on your screen, he's number 7. They've compared him to Andrew Gaff, which is a big, big rap, but very balanced.
I can see that. Watching the vision right now, he moves a bit like Andrew Gaff.
Doesn't he?
If he can run like Andrew Gaff, he'll be okay.
And if he can play as many games and do what Andrew Gaff's done, he'd be very good. But
good left foot as well.
Very good on the left foot. But he finished with a game high, 33 disposals and 9 clearances on this night. So he's shot up the draft rankings, and hopefully Adelaide or Port Adelaide could maybe snatch him with a pick. That'd be nice. But their picks might not be till later if they keep going well.
9 clearances is pretty good going as well. The hip pocket workwear and safety gear, safety wear, they have you covered. And FXD function by design, as you see right there. The Dometic Icebox, I've got one of these at home myself. Keep things cool with the Dometic CI 42 Icebox. Dometic mobile living made easy. But he wasn't the only player that impressed you. There was another player that caught your eye.
There was actually Josh Morris, I think his name was.
Motta.
So here he is. Have a look at him. What do you think he caught my eye?
That's Joe Dirt. He looks like Joe
He's
Dirt.
straight out of Joe Dirt. I like
That's
it.
great stuff, isn't
I like
it?
what I'm seeing, but I'll tell you what, that reminded me of someone else. Have a look.
Hey,
Maybe
that
not
was
quite as short on the side. What were you thinking there?
I might not be from South Australia, but I'll tell you what, there was as many bogans in Bendigo as you could possibly put together, and I was one of them in Bendigo, so thanks for
fitting
that.
in,
Yeah,
were you?
I was fitting in.
Yeah,
I was
okay,
fitting
nice.
in. Plenty more to come. We've spoken at length about Adelaide, but we're now going to turn our attention to how good Port Adelaide were, and that is, as I get there, OTR barista made C coffee break. We've got a break coming up. There it is right there. Brownie and Bernie. Yes, welcome back to Bernie and Brownie, formerly known as Footy SA, thanks to Kia, home of Australia's 7-year factory warranty and OTR, making life easy. We could take this on the road, I reckon.
I like it. I like where this is going.
Yes, let's talk about Port Adelaide because we've spoken about Adelaide, but Port Adelaide were terrific and their back six headed up by Cleary. What a player he has become. He was terrific on the weekend. He just marked everything that came his way and he was very sure by foot as well.
Yep, this is a player that takes intercept marks. I love defenders that can take intercept marks, backs himself in the air, uses the ball, just takes simple options, which key defenders should do, and just sets them up. So he's had an outstanding year, and Kane, when he is here, really, really rates this guy and talks him up. So, yeah, he's had a super year, and as you can see, intercept mark after intercept mark, just reads the play really well. I don't know where the Crows player was kicking to then, because there was no one forward of centre, but...
Pretty sure Kane changed his Twitter handle to a picture of Cleary, which I'm not sure I want a picture of myself on Kane's Twitter handle.
Well, last week it was the bow and arrow.
Yeah.
And yeah, he does some real...
Too much time on social media for that man, but he also thinks Port Adelaide need a reason to get up. Now, they've just had the showdown. Let's hear about Ken Hinkley talking about consistency.
I just believe in the group, and I know people won't like that because that's... We've been together. We've been this team that's given ourselves a chance to be better than we have been. But I'm going to say it again. It's a better group. It's a better group. It's not the same group. I got asked that question at the press conference. You know, inconsistent, unreliable, not trustworthy. I say this is a better group. This is a different group altogether, and they're learning. They're going to be a better team at some point. There'll be frustrations. I've said that before. There'll be frustrations.
They play like that in the second half. They did what they did against the Dogs not that long ago. It is frustrating, but you can see the talent.
Yeah, well, they beat Geelong, lose to the Bulldogs at home, beat Adelaide in a showdown, and it has been a bit of a yo-yo season, and consistency is key. But
let's have a look at what they've got coming up because they have a massive game against Brisbane, away to Richmond, the Giants and Essendon. It is not an easy run home.
No, it's not. It's pretty tough looking at that, isn't it? There's a lot of 50-50 games, and they're not going to be able to yo-yo the rest of the season because they won't make the finals. So they need to really get themselves up. And
how many of them did they need to win to make finals?
Well, they've won 8 games at the moment. So what do you have to win? You have to win 13.
You probably have to get 13. Yeah.
This year they reckon maybe 12 because it's pretty even, but you'd want to get 13. So they need to win 5 of them. It's going to be tough. There's some tough games in there.
Let's get into some votes for the SA Player of the Year. Repco Authorised Service Centre, your local mechanic with nationwide backing of Repco. Book your car service next at repcoservice.com. And, gee, not a lot of votes there, Bert. Where are they?
These are my Saturday night votes. These are my Saturday night votes.
What's happened?
A little bit emotional at the time.
You gave no one any votes?
Upon reflection, I did give 2 votes out. So we'll go to the next screen. I've gone...
You've given yourself
Matt
a vote.
Crouch, he's had 29 disposals and kicked a goal, so I thought he'd get one.
Why did you get a vote?
Well, I did the equivalent to the rest of the Adelaide Football Club, not just the players, the football club. So I gave myself a vote because I'm the only one else that was worthy of that. And as we can see, the leaders up there didn't really affect it too much, did it? Brad Crouch, 38 votes so far. Rory Sloane, second on 29. And Travis Boak, who missed on the weekend, 28 votes. Oh, yeah, and I'm throwing 2 You wouldn't read about it, guys. Nathan Brown's in the studio from Sportsbet, and he's going to tell us, give us a bit of an update about this weekend.
Yeah, good to be here, Bern. Just walked in the door. Can't believe it. It's unbelievable stuff. Let's have a look at the next couple of games we've got next weekend, because Adelaide, this is a huge game. They're very, very short. Richmond have just smacked them up there. They should be able to do the same. Big win, little win, 1-39. This is where it is. I reckon 225. Tough game to bet in, though, I would have thought, given what Adelaide did last week. But Port Adelaide up against Brisbane Lions. This is probably the game of the round. Yeah. Easily the game of the round. Two clubs that love to run. They love to use the footy. This is where it is. I reckon Port Adelaide, 1-39. They just need to shut down some of the Brisbane Lions runners, and they should be able to get the job done. $2.10 for 1-39, thanks to Sportsbet. Now let's have a look at the Brownlow medal. Tim Kelly didn't vote. Lachie Neale may not have voted. Fife definitely didn't. Travis Boak didn't vote, either did Brad Crouch. So none of those players there voted, and the premiership market there's been some big movers. West Coast is a massive mover into $4. They were $7. Now, you got Collingwood have dropped from the 4 down to 7. Adelaide and Port Adelaide were 41 last week, I think. And I tell you what, I'm staying up for this one. I know you love your cricket, Bern. You love your cricket. We're outsiders. We actually pelted the Poms last time we played them, and now we are outsiders at 210. I like us.
I'm getting on that.
I like us. Davey Warner to hit another century. Sandful update after the break as they head to the break. Thanks to OTR. Barista made C coffee break. Brownie and Bernie. Welcome back to Footy SA. Time for a Belfast Sandful update by Belfast Pie. For a Sandful ticket, head to belfast.com.au. And the Roosters, Bern, have broken through for a win.
They have. Have you ever seen a team that's won 2 games and been on 0?
Never seen it, Bern.
Well, they started the year -4. That's how, and they get 2 points for a win. So well done to North Adelaide, now on 0.
That's all for the Belfast Pie. Well done for the Roosters. Broke through for a win. And let's have a look at that promo, because it's an absolute beauty. Buy a Belfast Pie for a Sandful ticket. Visit belfast.com.au. That sounds like a really good deal for me.
Buy a pie and you get into the footy.
Yep.
That's a win-win for me.
Because you normally have to buy the ticket to get into the footy, then buy the pie.
Yeah, I'm with you here.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. And I love a good pie too. Let's have a look at the games. I know we've spoken about them on Sportsbet, but Gold Coast Adelaide, you'd think Adelaide would win comfortably.
I think Adelaide, well, they have to win. If they don't win this, they don't deserve to make the 8.
Cracking game. I'm going to set my alarm for this one. Sunday afternoon, Port Adelaide, Brisbane. I think they win this one.
Yep, game of the round. I think Brisbane win. I'm tipping Port Adelaide's yo-yo season to continue.
The numbers are in. Kane won't be back. I'll see you next week, Footy SA.